Emigration has always been a big part of our nation's story. For generations, Irish people have left to set up new lives and make their mark all over the world. So much so that there are about 70 million people with Irish roots scattered across the globe. And in 2013, it's up to all of us to invite friends and relatives home for a nationwide celebration of who we are and what we stand for. It's a chance to reunite, to bring us together. It's called The Gathering. In this series, 6 of our best-known immigrants are returning to their roots to do what they can to bring the diaspora back to their home place. They'll reunite with some familiar faces, help bring old friends back together, and send a message to the world asking them to come home. Tonight, Fionnula Flanagan returns to County Galway to reconnect with her adopted spiritual home. She'll investigate our sense of being Irish.
What does it mean to you to be Irish?
Help unite distant cousins.
What has happened to those 10 children is something that I want to explore.
If she were to knock on the door today, would you welcome her in?
With open arms.
And put together a personal invite to spread the word about coming home to Ireland to the whole world.
The Gathering offers an opportunity to invite Irish people to reconnect with friends. It's not just for a holiday, though that can be valid too. But it's the sense of coming home to have a holiday that's different. I think great things could come from it.
Galway and Connemara are places of contrasts and colour on the west coast of Ireland. County Galway also boasts Ireland's highest density of Irish speakers. One such speaker is actress Fionnula Flanagan. Although born in Dublin, Fionnula began her love affair with the Irish language in Connemara. Now a renowned Irish actress living in the Hollywood Hills, Fionnula has worked extensively in theatre, film and television all over the world.
I would like now to welcome to the stage the recipient of this year's IFTA Lifetime Achievement Award, Fionnula Flanagan.
She has graced our screens as one of the most successful Irish actresses to make it in Hollywood while continuing to work in Europe.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
What about amyl nitrate?
With a career spanning almost 50 years in front of the camera, Fionnula spends most of her time now at her home in LA, near the heart of the American film industry.
It's an extraordinary city, Los Angeles, you know, it's a huge population. It is the center of the film industry here in America. If you want to work in the film industry in this country, you either live in New York or you live in Los Angeles. I live in the hills overlooking Los Angeles, and it's pretty up here. It's sort of wild. We have a lot of coyotes and a lot of deer, and that's wonderful. But I don't think of myself as an emigrant, per se. I think of myself as living in two worlds, and quite honestly, Ireland will always be home. I think my view of Ireland is sort of deep within me. I don't have to view it through the lens of Hollywood, but it is within me, and I carry it with me. I would hate the thought of not ever seeing Ireland again. That would be awful. I couldn't even imagine that. I couldn't imagine that for an instant. It is home, and I don't think we get to choose home. I think that's just the way it is. It's where your heart is and where you come from and where all your memories are. So I'm looking forward to just the whole impetus of the gathering and being a part of that, and particularly in Galway and the west of Ireland, which is so beautiful and wonderful to me.
When Fionnula journeys home, her first stop is in one of Galway City's oldest pubs, Tínachtain on Quay Street, where local poets have gathered for a poetry reading organised by Galway's literary festival, Cuairt.
Well, first of all, it's lovely to walk into Tínachtain, you know, because it's so emblematic of Galway. And then walking in and suddenly seeing the poets and the sean-nós singer, there was a treat, absolute treat.
Poetry is an essential part of Ireland. If people come to Ireland, they will get to know our poets and our poetry and how much of our culture is in our poetry.
We come from an oral tradition here, painting pictures with words. Even people who don't speak Irish today, they acknowledge that in their turn of phrase. I miss that. I miss not hearing that spoken.
I to kuig sense quilton na Galway, Caparine Lawn, Gakurig Shul Sheer, and Shoppa Srad Beg, Kana Ella Drita Good Gam Vile, Gamaleshkel Mate, and will an Auma.
You hear a line of poetry and it's the well, you go to drink from that, and you think, ah yes, now I'm nourished, can carry on now.
Fionnula's support for the Galway Film Fleadh has been immense over the years. She's very supportive of Irish film. In particular here in Galway, I'm on the board of the Picture Palace with Fionnula, which will be the new art house cinema for the west of Ireland. Looking forward to 2013, the Galway Film Fleadh are looking at 100 years of Irish films about, for and starring the Irish diaspora abroad.
Drinking pints paid for by commonage sold to property developers from Meath. And the children he never knew will receive a tidy sum to buy a 2-bedroom duplex in Surrey.
Coming here 20 years ago is a bit of a blow-in from Britain. It was very clear that Galway is a particularly intense and energetic version of Irish culture. You know, all the festivals, the proximity to America in its different ways, and all the visitors means that Galway's culture is open to and connected with a wider international thing.
The gathering provides an opportunity to reach across the sea to those of us who are overseas.
There'll be mass when you lose at the Galway races, and for the saving of your soul if you take the boat to Cheltenham.
Or maybe people who haven't been home for a long time, or who have never been home, who are second or third generation Irish, and you say to them, hey, come here, listen, we have stories to tell. We have stories to tell in a way in which you've never heard them told before.
There'll be a special mass on Saturday afternoon for your granny's boils and aches and black lung, and her ulcers and spots and diabetes and psychosis.
Fionnula wants to find out more about the history of emigration from Galway. The west of Ireland was one of the areas hardest hit by the Great Famine of 1845. She's visiting an old village near Roundstone in Connemara, which suffered as a direct consequence of the famine. Over the decades, it began to lose its population, many through emigration, with its inhabitants leaving for the US and beyond. The derelict houses in Allanacally remain largely untouched today. In the old village, Fionnula meets Rory OShaughnessy, a volunteer working with Ireland Reaching Out, a project designed to help people of Irish descent trace their roots.
In the 1911 census, there was 12 families living here, in these 12 little houses all around here. I think there was 59 people in those houses. Their livelihood was very hard and harsh, and they emigrated, family after family. They knew from a very young age that the boat awaited them. It wasn't an option. In time, the whole houses were ripped of one child after the other, until there was nobody here, until the parents died out. This is a deserted village now, there's nobody here, but there's not one village in Ireland that hasn't been touched by emigration.
Absolutely. You are working for Ireland Reaching Out. Will you tell us what Ireland Reaching Out does?
We're hoping to reconnect 71 million of the Irish diaspora worldwide with the parishes and villages they actually came from, all across Ireland, not just here on the West Coast. You're reconnecting them right back to where their descendants came from. And it's probably something we owe them. You know, we also want to learn a bit about them and their story, about their people when they went to America and the hardships they faced on the other side. We've never really followed the story across the water, and maybe that's something as a nation we need to do.
I think that there is still a great hesitancy in the Irish makeup about expressing feelings, and that's why they're all in the plays and in the poems and in the songs, but they're not in our everyday life. You know, people shrug and walk away and say, ah, sure, you know, shuffle a lot. You know, there's an awful lot of foot shuffling goes on in expressing ourselves. But you know, I really believe that if you don't know what you feel, you don't know who you are. It would be really nice to be able to say, I miss you, I love you, come home.
Inspired by the Ireland Reaching Out programme, Fionnula has arranged to meet Florida native Jennifer Mee Arthur in Galway. Her grandfather left Ireland in 1927 at the age of 19 to seek a better life in the US. This is the first time Jennifer has set foot in Ireland. She has never met her Irish relatives and wants to surprise them with a visit.
Well, I've just set foot in Ireland for the first time, and I have butterflies in my stomach. It's so exciting to be here to plan for a family reunion in July of 2013 for the gathering here in Galway City.
So, first of all, Jennifer, welcome to Ireland and welcome to Galway. This, I think, could be a great adventure for you because you have a quest.
My maiden name is Jennifer Mee, M-E-E, so I'm investigating my Mee ancestors. This is my great-grandfather, Dan Mee, and his wife, Bridget Mee.
One of the things which was amazing to me, and I sort of hate to admit this, but I'm going to, is that I found myself in meeting her having to put aside all my judgment about Americans coming back here to meet their family members. And then I looked into her face and I watched her as she was pointing out who the relatives were in the photographs that she showed me. And I realized how much it meant to her.
Of the 10 children that Bridget bore, 6 of them emigrated to the United States. My grandfather, Jeremiah, he was the last to emigrate to the United States. This is the only photograph that I've ever seen of my grandfather, and I treasure it. I found it in a shoebox that was among my grandmother's possessions after she died.
Wow, he's a handsome son of a gun, isn't he?
He sure is.
Very confident looking, businessman, picture of Irish success in the new world.
Bridget died in 1911, and what has happened to those 10 children is something that I want to explore.
Jennifer is going to meet her cousin, Danny Geraghty, who still lives near her ancestral home in County Galway.
I'm closing a circle here by meeting Danny and by coming back to the place where my grandfather was born and grew up and where he left to go to the United States.
All right, if you're good, we'll take you to meet Danny.
I promise.
If you're not good, we'll just give you more tea.
I'll do my best.
There's an enormous quest for her coming back and about to meet her cousin, Danny. Of course, he doesn't know that he's going to meet her, which is very exciting. So I'm looking forward to watching that and introducing the two of them one to the other and see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful.
Tonight, Fionnula Flanagan has returned to County Galway to help launch a year-long celebration of Irish culture. She's on a mission to reconnect Jennifer Mee Arthur from Florida with her cousins in County Galway. She'll also pay tribute to her adopted spiritual home by sending out an invitation to the Irish everywhere to come back next year. Fionnula travels to Williamstown in County Galway to meet Jennifer Mee Arthur's second cousin, Danny Geraghty.
Hello. Danny?
That's right.
I'm Fionnula.
How are you? You're very, very welcome.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to meet you.
Right.
Lovely to meet you.
Good.
And this is Catherine,
And this is
yes?
my wife, Catherine.
Good to meet you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Danny's mother, Bridget, was left behind when 6 of her siblings emigrated in the 1920s.
And your mother's
And
name?
my mother's
Do you have a
name
picture of your mother?
is Bridget. And Bridget died in 2004 at the age of 93.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a lovely, warm face.
Yes, she was a very loving woman. We were very proud of our mother, and she was very proud of us, and she was very, very, very proud of her grandchildren as well. If she was here today, she'd be a very proud woman. So, yes, she was a wonderful mother, and we miss her. She had a very hard life, you see. She felt probably very much on her own, really. She missed them. She was close to them, but they were far away, you know.
Bridget's brother, Jeremiah Mee, started a family in Houston, Texas in the 1930s. It is his granddaughter, Jennifer Mee Arthur, who is home to surprise Danny and plan a family gathering for next year.
So would you be excited to meet her?
Oh, very excited,
You
yeah.
would?
Yeah, all of the family, everyone would be very excited.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. If my mother was alive, she would be very, very proud of what's happening. She would really be the first one out there, you know, going to Galway, I'd say, you know, on this mission to meet these people. It would be a big thing for her. Yeah.
It was lovely to meet Danny, and he clearly loved talking about the people who are far away and welcomes the idea of a gathering. And in fact, Jennifer, his cousin in Florida, is planning this gathering for next year, and of course he's never met her. Well, how would you feel if she were to knock on the door today? Would you welcome her in, Jennifer?
With open arms.
You would?
Yeah, why wouldn't I? Yeah.
It's lovely. So it'd be very nice to see that happen, I must say.
Fionnula returns to Galway City to explore further the subject of immigration and Irish identity. She visits one of the city's most famous institutions, NUI Galway, where she received an honorary doctorate in 2008. She wants to talk to the students about what lies at the heart of the gathering, that sense of belonging to Ireland. She asks them to sum up our sense of national identity in a few words.
Okay, now, well, what does it mean to you, even in one word, if you can? Or maybe 2 words, all right?
You identify yourself by your county, you know, your local parish, you know, what sports team you affiliate yourself with, you know. There's pride in being Irish.
Nowhere else in the world has our humour at all. And just the love of like our culture, our language.
The Irish are known as great storytellers, which goes back hundreds of years.
I was very impressed with the uniqueness of each contribution because they'd really thought about what identity meant to them, what Irishness meant to them.
I'd say Irish traditional music.
Traditional music.
I played and my family would all have played. So I'd say when they all immigrated, that was something that they could kind of just focus on.
All of these students are specialising in Irish studies. One of the key things that we're getting them to examine on the courses here is the whole idea of Irish identity, trying to encourage them to think of it not just as something that's inherited and given, but that's something that they shape and reshape in the course of their own lives.
Definitely community is another word that describes Irish identity, whether it be your family or your friends and neighbours.
It's interesting because we're studying people that have left Ireland. What do they think their Irish identity is, even though they're not here? Are they still Irish? And she comes back 4 or 5 times a year and she says, you know, I'm just as Irish as the next person.
Any of you have relatives, family members who emigrated? Oh, look at that. That's quite significant. So emigration is a big thing in our culture, big thing in our identity. And we did talk about the value of the Irish being able to claim a diaspora, which is relatively new.
People didn't know what the diaspora was until Mary Robinson came into power, and she was one of the first people to really articulate this in terms of expanding an idea of Irishness that wasn't limited to the island of Ireland.
Many of them feel a welcoming towards the diaspora, towards their relatives and friends who are far away, because they feel they can go there to them and be welcomed. And I think a step easier is to translate that into they can welcome them home. How many of you will emigrate, do you think? I mean, serious emigration, going there to work and stay, yeah, quite a significant number, yeah. I wish you well wherever you go, but I do hope that you will always come back. Ireland needs you. Ireland needs you, your kind of minds, your kind of imagination. So do come back, even if you go away, okay? Bravo.
The time has come for Fionnula to finish her trip to Ireland by reconnecting Jennifer Mee from Florida in the US with her Irish relatives in Williamstown, County Galway. Fionnula is waiting outside the Mee ancestral home, where a family, once separated by immigration, is about to be reunited.
Well, I'm standing here in front of what I think was Danny's grandparents' house. Doesn't seem to be anybody living in it now, but I'm waiting for Danny to arrive, and he doesn't know that very shortly after that, Jennifer is going to come walking up the road. Hello again.
Hello again. How are you?
Good. No, good. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
This looks familiar to you, does it?
It does indeed, yes, it does. This is where my mother was born and reared, yeah. She was born in 1911 here and she got married in 1941, so she was 30 years here.
I don't know what my expectations are. I gotta tell you, I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Oh, yes.
Will he feel intruded on, or will he feel pleased? Will he see a kinswoman? Will he see a stranger? How's it gonna be for him? I hope there'll be some kind of recognition.
I think there's somebody looking for you here, coming up the road
Really?
there. Yeah.
Oh. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Jennifer.
You're Jennifer.
I'm Jennifer.
Wonderful. Okay. Oh, you kept this a big secret, didn't you, everybody? Did you? This is one of the best days of my life.
It's the best day of my life, too.
I could see something in her eyes and her face anyway that resembled my mother, actually.
Really?
Yeah, there is a resemblance somewhere, and it's from her mother's side. I can see it, actually.
I want to hear all about your mother.
You'll hear it all, word by word.
We have a lot to talk about.
That's good.
And I'll bring everybody back that I can.
That's good.
You're going to help me?
I sure will.
Okay. Yeah. It was everything I'd hoped for. It was everything I'd hoped for. And I can't wait to spend more time with you.
Thank you.
It was very, very moving. And of course, that's possible if people reach out to one another. My job is done. I'm here to collect my fee.
Here it is.
I never expected to meet anybody like this. It was just miraculous.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Total joy.
Delighted to meet you.
Slán go fóill.
Slán. Bye.
That was really something.
Yeah, absolutely.
A week later, and Fionnula is back in California. She's assembled a group of Hollywood friends to launch her video invite to entice people back to Ireland.
The gathering offers an opportunity to invite Irish people to reconnect with friends. It was absolutely lovely for me to be in Galway and Connemara and to film this. So why don't we look at it? Home is about people. Home is about belonging. Home is about language. Home is about dreaming and the leaving of it too. And home is about returning. The emigrant Irish, like oil lamps, we put them out the back of our houses, of our minds. We had lights better than, newer than. And then a time came, this time, now, we need them. Their dread, makeshift example, they would have thrived on our necessities. What they survived, we could not even live. By their lights now, it is time to imagine how they stood there, what they stood with. Cardboard, iron, their hardships parcelled in them. Patience, fortitude, long suffering in the bruise-coloured dusk of the new world. All the old songs and nothing to lose.
My name is Bernadette O'Neill and I live both in the United States and in Ireland. I just loved it. I just loved it. And I hope everybody comes home because that's what it's all about.
I'm Lisa McLaughlin from Mallintown, Donegal. I've been in LA over 10 years now. I have a 10-year-old son who's growing up here in California, and I would really like him to go back and know his roots and know where his family came from.
My name is Lawrence Kubik, and I thought it was a great piece. You know, going back to your roots is a moving thing.
My name is Barbara Barron. I was very moved by it. In fact, I was holding back tears because the piece itself just touched me so deeply that I thought I should get on a plane.
To anybody watching this, I would say, this is new, this is different, but it could be amazing. It could be amazing for you, for your family, for your friends who have come home. Take the risk, go for it. You know, you might enjoy it, and who knows what'll come out of it.